Snow drifted silently over the city like feathers shaken from heaven. From the top floor of the Cross Tower, the skyline glittered with Christmas lights, every window below glowing with laughter, dinners, and family warmth. But inside the penthouse, the world was silent. Ethan Cross, CEO of Cross Industries, sat alone by the fire. The crackle of burning wood was the only sound in the vast room. He had just turned 50, though the man in the glass reflection looked older. The empty wine glass on the coffee table reflected the same emptiness in his eyes. The city called him brilliant, ruthless, visionary. Magazines printed his face beside words like genius and titan of industry. Yet, tonight, none of that mattered. All the success, the skyscrapers, the private jets, none of them could fill the silence echoing through his home. He reached for his phone. No messages, no family, no plans. His assistant had offered to arrange a holiday dinner, but he declined. What would he talk about? How would he pretend that the ache inside didn't grow worse each Christmas? Outside, a gust of wind rattled the window panes. Ethan sighed, leaned back, and whispered to no one, "Merry Christmas, Ethan." Just then, a soft sound broke through the silence, 3 gentle knocks. He froze. It was nearly midnight. No one ever came here. Cautiously, he walked to the door and opened it. The hallway was empty, the lights dim. But on the floor, dusted with snowflakes, lay an envelope. The handwriting on it was uneven and colorful, the paper decorated with stickers of stars and candy canes. Across the front, in big letters, to Mr. Cross, from the Triplet girls in 2B. He frowned. 2B. That was one of the family units on the lower floors, far removed from the corporate penthouse world he lived in. Curiosity tugged at him. He closed the door, sat by the fire again, and carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a letter written in crayon on notebook paper. Dear Mr. Cross, Mommy says Christmas is about love, not gifts. But we think love means not being alone. We made you cookies. Please don't be sad. Merry Christmas. Love, Emily, Ellie and Emma, the Triplet girls in 2B. Taped to the bottom was a small paper snowflake, crooked and a little torn, and a foil-wrapped cookie that had clearly been handled by tiny hands. Ethan just stared at it. Something warm and unfamiliar stirred in his chest. He read the letter again, then again. The handwriting, the innocent kindness, the way they noticed him, it disarmed every wall he had built around his heart. He looked at the clock. 11:48 p.m. For years, he'd ignored the building's residents, too absorbed in his empire to even remember their names. But now, 3 little girls had reached out across that divide, and he couldn't let it end with a thank you note later. So, for the first time in a decade, Ethan Cross put on his coat and stepped out into the hallway. The elevator hummed quietly as it descended. On the second floor, faint Christmas music drifted through a door half open, the scent of cinnamon and laughter leaking into the hallway. He hesitated, suddenly unsure. What would he say? Hi, I'm your billionaire neighbor. Ridiculous. Before he could turn back, the door opened, and a woman appeared, hair slightly messy, flour dusting her hands, eyes wide with surprise. Oh, Mr. Cross, she said, startled. Ethan cleared his throat. I received this letter. He held up the crayon-marked envelope. From your daughters, I believe. Her face softened. Oh dear, they actually sent it. I told them not to bother you. Don't, Ethan interrupted gently. It wasn't a bother. It was kind. 3 identical girls peeked out from behind her legs, big brown eyes shining with excitement. He got it. He got our letter. One of them squealed. Did you like our cookie? Another asked. Ethan smiled, awkwardly at first, then genuinely. It was the best cookie I've ever seen. The girls giggled. You can have dinner with us if you want, said the third one boldly. Their mother, her name, he would later learn, was Lila, looked embarrassed. Girls, Mr. Cross probably has plans. No, Ethan said softly. I don't. I'd be honored. The apartment was small but full of warmth. Fairy lights tangled around a fake tree, a few handmade ornaments, and the smell of mac and cheese filling the air. The girls made him a paper crown, insisting he was the king of Christmas dinner. And for the first time in years, Ethan laughed, really laughed. They told him jokes, showed him their drawings, and asked if he'd ever met Santa. He told them about his office at the top of the world and promised to bring them snow globes next Christmas. When he left, it was well past midnight. The triplets had fallen asleep on the couch, Lila whispering thanks at the door. As Ethan stepped into the elevator, he looked at the crayon snowflake still in his hand and smiled. That night, the man who had everything realized he'd been missing the simplest thing of all, connection. And from that Christmas onward, Ethan Cross was never alone again. Winter returned, soft and silver, wrapping the city in quiet snow once again. The Cross Tower, once a monument to cold ambition, now gleamed with golden warmth. Strings of lights sparkled from every floor, and the building's grand lobby was filled with the sound of children laughing as they decorated a massive Christmas tree. Ethan Cross stood near the base of that tree, his suit dusted with glitter thanks to 3 overenthusiastic little girls who were now arguing over where to hang the star. "Higher, Ellie," said Emily. "You're too short, Emma," giggled Ellie. "Mr. Ethan can reach it," said Emma confidently. Ethan laughed, shaking his head. "All right, team, on 3. He lifted the girls one by one until the golden star shimmered atop the tree. The crowd of tenants in the lobby clapped, and the triplets jumped down, cheering. Across the room, Lila stood near the cocoa stand, watching him. Their eyes met for a brief moment, wordless, but filled with shared gratitude. When the music started, Ethan slipped outside for a moment of quiet. Snowflakes swirled around the tower's front steps, the city glimmering below like a sea of stars. Still escaping the party, Lila's voice came softly from behind him. She held 2 cups of cocoa, offering him one. "Not escaping," he said with a smile. "Just remembering." She stepped beside him. "It's hard to believe it's only been a year," she said. "Feels like we've known you forever." "Feels that way to me too." He took a sip, then looked at her seriously. "Lila, I've been working on something. I wanted to tell you and the girls first." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a simple folder. Inside were papers with a logo on top, the Snowflake Foundation. "It's a charity," Ethan explained. "For single parents and children who've lost someone, so they'll never have to spend another Christmas alone." Lila's hand flew to her mouth. "Ethan, that's incredible. I couldn't have done it without you," he said quietly. "You and the girls reminded me what really matters. I built an empire, but I never built a life. You changed that." Her eyes shimmered. "We didn't do much. We just wrote a letter." He smiled softly. "Sometimes that's all it takes." Inside, the music filled the air, soft jazz mixed with children's laughter. The triplets danced in circles, their joy contagious. Ethan and Lila joined them, awkwardly at first, then with growing ease. For once, Ethan didn't care how he looked or who might be watching. He was exactly where he wanted to be. A year later, the Snowflake Foundation opened its doors. Families gathered in warmth and laughter, surrounded by trees covered with paper wishes. Ethan stood at the podium, the triplets at his side, Lila smiling proudly in the front row. "Last Christmas," he said, "I sat alone in a penthouse. Then 3 little girls left me a letter. Tonight, because of them, hundreds of families have a home." Applause filled the air. The triplets handed out silver snowflake pendants to the children, and Ethan looked out over the glowing faces before him. For the first time in his life, he knew exactly who he was, not a CEO, not a symbol of success, but a man with purpose, family, and love. As snow drifted down outside, Ethan turned to Lila and whispered, "Last Christmas, I was alone. This year, I'm home." She smiled and took his hand. Around them, laughter and carols rose through the night, and above the foundation's glowing lights, 1,000 snowflakes danced through the air, each one different, each one beautiful, each one a reminder that the smallest kindness can change everything.